Dominicans told they'll be going to the polls within the next 100 days. And in sport, Jamaica's Reggae Boys on course for qualification for the CONCACAF Gold Cup. I'm Ricardo Roberts and this is Caribbean in 10 for Monday, October 14, 2019. I'll be back with the details after the break. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt has told voters general elections will be held within 100 days. He was addressing the launch of the ruling Dominica Labour Party's candidate for the southeastern constituency of La Plaine last night when he made the announcement. The polls are constitutionally due next year, but political observers have already predicted that the election bell will be rung later this year.
Time is drawing nigh, ladies and gentlemen. The time is getting closer. I can tell you that we have everything in place as far as the Dominica Labour Party is concerned for the next general election. I want always to say to us that Labour is a party of peace. Let us promote peace and tranquility in our country.
Over in Guyana now, police and protesters clashed yesterday in West Coast Demerara, where President David Granger was attending a Hindu school graduation ceremony and dinner. The protesters were part of a non-governmental organization called the Association for Democracy and Human Rights Guyana. Vikash Ramkisoon, a member of the NGO, told Newsroom Guyana that the protesters had been demonstrating peacefully, but the situation escalated when police began to push against the protesters with the barricades. They were moving farther from the venue and some people were injured. Ramkisoon was among two people taken into custody at the scene. Divisional Commander of the Region 3, Senior Superintendent Lyndon Lord, said the two, whom he described as ringleaders, were spoken to and sent away. Last month, members and supporters of the main opposition People's Progressive Party mounted a huge protest at an event where President Granger was delivering an address. Since then, the police have been placing barricades around venues. The president is slated to attend. The Canadian government has updated the emergency status for Jamaica on a travel advisory due to a continued high level of violent crime. In an advisory, it pointed to the states of emergency in the corporate area, which includes the areas of Kingston, the central parishes of Clarendon and St. Catherine, and the western parishes of St. James, Hanover and Westmoreland, areas that include the tourist resort towns of Montego Bay and Negril. And it said violent crime, including armed robbery and murder, is a problem in large cities, despite the presence of police to counter criminal activity. Canadians staying at resorts in affected areas have been told that they should restrict their movements to resort security perimeters, and those who want to travel outside the resort should use transportation arranged or provided by the resort. Trinidad and Tobago's National Security Minister Stuart Young has filed a defamation claim against opposition United National Congress UNC Senator Wade Mark over allegations he made at a public meeting earlier this year. Young's attorneys sent a pre-action protocol letter to Mark last week on the matter. Now, Mark allegedly made the statements at a UNC meeting on May 27th. Young's attorneys said the opposition senator falsely alleged the National Security Minister wrongly used his office to corruptly influence and or wrongfully facilitate the placement of substantial public funds held by Home Mortgage Bank and other financial institutions in which the minister's brother was chief executive officer. And the lawyers have called on Mark to apologize and not to repeat the allegations and to pay Young's legal costs in the matter. Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next.
The thing to keep in mind is that when statements like some of the ones in the previous segment were made, I think those make Trump's base excited and they double down on him. So I think it'll have an interesting effect. I don't think it's going to make anybody change their mind.
I think the economy is the key to all this. I don't think it's a coincidence that as we start to whisper about a potential recession, people are really then starting to drum up.
Welcome back. It's now time for sport. Jamaica's unbeaten Reggae Boys remain firmly on course for promotion to League A and qualification for the CONCACAF Gold Cup after brushing aside Aruba 2-0 in the Nations League on Saturday night. Devon Williams put the hosts ahead in the 13th minute and Shamar Nicholson scored later on after missing a second-half penalty.
Kamar Lawrence back towards the spot. Deflected shot and an opening goal for Jamaica. Devon Williams. Marshall. Kamar Lawrence. Rushing. And a heavy touch from Orja. Back to his left. It's Nicholson. On his right. Abdul stood him up. Keeps it a 1-goal deficit for Aruba. Here's a break for Aruba. Their best chance of the night. Deflected. And it's wide. Quick restart for Jamaica. It's on here, and a penalty given. And he skies it onto the track. Missed opportunity for Nicholson. Onto his right, spinning. Nicholson finally gets his goal. The Reggae Boys, a comfortable 2-0 win, 9 points.
The victory was Jamaica's third on the trot and left them top of the Group C of League B with 9 points, 3 clear of Antigua and Barbuda. Now, in the other games in League B, St. Lucia remained winless with a 3-0 defeat to the Dominican Republic in Group B, while host Montserrat perished 2-0 at the hands of El Salvador to concede defeat for the first time in 3 matches. In League C, Nicholas Blackman's second-half free kick was enough to seal Barbados' 1-0 win over the U.S. Virgin Islands and return them to the top of the Group A on 6 points. Cayman Islands, who went down 3-0 to St. Martin, lie second also with 6 points but are behind on goal difference. Now, Angola, meanwhile, suffered elimination in Group C after going down 5-0 to Guatemala at home at the Valley, leaving them without a win in 2 outings. And Lewis Hamilton's seemingly inevitable march to a 6th world title hit a snag yesterday when he finished third in the Japanese Grand Prix as team mate Valtteri Bottas took the checkered flag to hand Mercedes a 6th straight constructors title. The 34-year-old Hamilton, who started from second row on the grid, engaged in a heated duel with pole setter Sebastian Vettel of Ferrari before eventually conceding to cross the line 0.4 seconds behind the second-placed German. That's Caribbean and 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.